Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's compare these two synthesizers. Maybe some of you already have them. Maybe some of you are thinking which one. Maybe some of you want to buy two of these, but you're not sure if you need it. And let's call it a user review. I will share why I like these synthesizers, some history about it, and what you can do with it generally. Let me get some tea first. I'm a tea guy. I do not drink coffee. I have to prepare some tea. Anyway. Okay, so this is not a video with audio examples. I don't think you need to hear some, because there are plenty on YouTube. I'm here to share some thoughts about it. And I have that Pro VS since about the year, and I have JT Mini since about collecting dust since about a few weeks, 3 weeks or something like that. I like both, but I like Pro VS much more. And but I don't want to discourage you. It depends what you are looking for. And maybe at the beginning I'm gonna say what I do not like. And actually there is nothing what I do not like about the Pro VS, and there is only one thing that I do not like about the JT Mini. It's simple. Behringer, I think you have, well, your team and Behringer, I think you have missed in designing that synthesizer, that mini version, one thing. It has only one envelope. It's not a huge problem, but it's quite limiting. I would love to have one more envelope instead of LFO. Seriously, this is LFO is not the most important feature. It's a cool feature. Modulation is a great thing. But I don't know, maybe you could make that envelope a little bit smaller, not these sliders. Well, it looks cool, yeah, but that's not very flexible. I would rather have one envelope dedicated to filter and one envelope dedicated to amplifier, just like Pro VS has. Pro VS has envelope here, and it's dead. I have to reset it. Anyway, Pro VS has two envelopes, and depending on what you want, well, it's not necessary to have one more envelope here, but because of that, I have to record that, sample that synthesizer more often, because sampler is giving me more opportunities. Yeah. Loading, you can hear my sister in the background. Okay, so That's what I don't like about it, or like about these synthesizers. I'm gonna get back to it anyway. And now I will say something about history of these synthesizers. Both synthesizers have been made, introduced to the market in the 80s. I think Pro VS was earlier, early 80s, and JT Mini was like mid 80s. And both of these synthesizers were quite phenomenal because these synthesizers have introduced more voices. What does it mean? If you don't know, they can play more chords, simply. JT can play 3 notes, JT Mini at least, and Pro VS can play 5 notes. And this is crazy, by the way, for that price. Yeah, seriously, it's just crazy. More voices for about, let's say, $100 or euros or pounds, more or less. Excuse me. This is really cheap. Usually you would have to spend, I don't know what's the good example on the market now. I think the cheapest synthesizer with more voices is MIDI Freak. Micro Freak. It can play 4 chords. JT is winning. Not JT. Pro VS is winning in that regard, and it's a lot cheaper. And this is quite important feature for me, at least. Okay, so what you can expect from these synthesizers? I think Pro VS is a lot more flexible. I think it makes great soundscapes, and besides that, well, it can be used in movie soundtracks, and it definitely has that vibe from the 80s, but it goes beyond that as well. It can be used for any music genre, I think. JT also, but it's a bit limited, and it has a bit different sound qualities. But again, Pro VS can also sound or make sounds just like the JT can do. The only thing that I'm missing in Pro VS is filter slope. You can choose between 2 slopes on a filter on a JT Mini, and Pro VS has only one. I think it's 24 dB per octave, and JT Mini has that one and 12 dB per octave. So this is again a little bit limiting on a Pro VS side, but this is not a huge problem again. Especially for that price. This is just crazy. I am actually in love with Pro VS, really, because of several reasons. As you can see on my channel, there are many synthesizers, and after some time I was missing one thing, that I can store presets. And Pro VS can store presets, which is a huge advantage, I think. You can get the sounds that you need, that you love. You can simply save these presets. On the other hand, JT Mini is quite easy to program, and it can get you there very quickly, especially if you already know how to program synthesizers. So having no presets, it's not a big problem, but sometimes, you know, it's worth having. It's worth having that ability to store presets. Another thing that I love about ProVS is that you can control virtually any parameter over MIDI, including LFO. And this is really cool. This is really cool. If you have control over your LFO, this is it's actually something what in modern music is a very useful feature. Yeah. Let's talk about the sound of both of these synthesizers. These are a bit different in nature. JT Mini, it's fully analog, and ProVS is digital analog. It has analog filter and of course VCA as well. And it doesn't lack in sound, I think. By the way, Prophet VS, it's not just my opinion actually, but Prophet VS has the deepest bass of all Prophet synthesizers. And you can feel it. You can feel it, especially after the Behringer updated the firmware. And JT Mini, on the other hand, I think it's fully analog. Of course, it sounds like an analog synthesizer. It sounds very creamy. It reminds me about Minimoog, Moog Minimoog. That synthesizer, the original one, well, prices go up like up to $30,000. Yeah, so this is crazy. And Prophet VS, you can buy these for about $5,000. I mean the original ones, yeah, vintage. I think the prices of Jupiter are a bit exaggerated, but it's okay. We can get this a lot cheaper because of Behringer. It sounds great. That filter is actually the thing what makes it sound exceptionally. But like I said, it reminds me about Minimoog. It's a very creamy, warm analog sound. And I really like it. I really enjoy it, I have to admit. I'm not one of those who is thinking that only analog synthesizers sound great, because if you think that way, you are actually limiting yourself. But it's a personal choice, of course, yeah. Okay, so what else I can say about these two? These are very cheap, and whatever you have, it's worth buying, because you can, for a very small price, you can have something what, first of all, sounds very exceptionally, and you can use these synthesizers to layer your synths with these synthesizers, yeah. And this is like one of my shorts is suggesting, this is my most important tip: layer synthesizers. Do not add equalizers and other stuff on it until, make it before that. Layer synth sounds. That will make your sounds a lot more richer, and you can get there by buying any of these two synthesizers and layer these with your other synthesizers. And I think these two are kind of a must-have synthesizers because of history behind these synthesizers and flexibility. These synthesizers are from early 80s, but both of these synthesizers can sound very modern, and both of them will fulfill your needs and expectations. If we talk about sounds, programming sounds, that envelope is a little bit limiting, but it's okay. I can live with that, yeah. But it's a bit of shame that Behringer didn't think about it. Okay, so EDM, R&B, hip hop, especially Pro VS for movie soundtracks, especially that one. Ambient music as well. And because JT Mini can play free notes, it's also worth having. And well, I am working around these limitations because I am recording synthesizers. I don't have to sampling multi-samples. I'm recording multi-samples, and I play back these with a sampler, so I can play chords. But I don't have to do it that often with Pro VS because it can play 5 notes, depending on a patch as well. But anyway, free notes, what JT can play at the same time. Free notes are also quite flexible, especially, of course, compared to mono synthesizers. What else? I really enjoy that Pro VS. I was thinking, because, you know, I have tons of samples and synthesizers and everything, and I was thinking maybe I'm gonna sell it, but there is something that I hold on to. Something. It's, first of all, it can store presets, it can be controlled via MIDI. I mean, all of the knobs, filter and LFO and everything else in between. And this is really nice. There is a display, and you have actually all of the analog waves there as well. You can choose between modern and vintage sound engine. That's perfect. So many features for that money. This is just crazy. I didn't expect it really. I'm good in programming synthesizers, but it just makes you feel good if you can control so much, and it can play 5 notes. This is just crazy. You just have to understand that polyphonic synthesizers are very expensive, even today. I think the cheapest one is Microfreak. I can't think of any other synthesizer that can play chords. Well, Microfreak is not a polyphonic synth, but I am calling any synthesizer that can play more notes a polyphonic synth. What's the difference about poly and paraphonic? If you don't know, paraphonic synthesizer will share the filter and envelope with all of the notes, and polyphonic synthesizer will have a separate filter and envelope for each voice, and that's the difference. So you can play more. And playing is a bit more flexible. Yeah, it doesn't eat the previous note if you have polyphonic synthesizer. Paraphonic is eating the previously played notes if you press another one. And this is by JT Mini. It doesn't sound good sometimes because it's like cutting the sound, and it's also clipping a little bit, but it's okay. It can be recorded, at least. But this is not a synthesizer for keyboard players, really. I think it's worth waiting for the bigger version, 100%. What else I can tell you? There are lots of other features that I'm not going to discuss. It's like sequencer and whatever else is there. I'm not really using it. I use my DAW as a sequencer. Yeah, cool thing is that you can change LFO waves as well in both synthesizers. You can change it here as well. This is also quite flexible. Yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't want to make that video too long. It's already 20 minutes. I have nothing to hide. Maybe I have forgotten something. First of all, if you have some questions, please tell me what is your goal, what you want to do, what kind of music you want to do, what kind of sounds you want to make, and I can recommend you something. I can give you some advice on it. I will do it with pleasure, and thank you for watching, and have fun.